Hi, it's Enola. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, we're very late, but here's my June and July wrap up. I didn't film one like separate for June because I was on vacation, so didn't have the chance to film. And then when I came home, I didn't really have time to read in July, so I'm just gonna pull them together because I only read 2 books in July, and like I wouldn't be able to do a separate video for that. So we're just doing it together. In June, I had a pretty good reading month. I read 9 books. Very happy with that. Some good books as well. And then, like I said, July I read 2 books. I read 1 more in June, but I didn't finish it, so I'm not counting that as a book I've read. I'm going to tell you all about it, so let's start with the first book I read. The worst thing about waiting so long with filming is that I don't remember anything about the books. So I made a little notes page, wrote down a few things. Like, I still don't remember most of these books. Like, I remember the feeling of reading them, but I don't remember what actually happened. So I might have to think for a little while. We're gonna see how it goes. The first book I read in June was Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score. I did a reading vlog on the whole Knock 'Em Out series. You can go watch that if you want to. I tabbed this book, did not like it as much as the first one. I gave this one 4 stars. I'm just gonna start by saying that. In the beginning I was very bored, didn't really like the story, didn't care for the characters or anything that happened. The spice was pretty good, and that was the only reason that I kept going. Obviously I did it for the video, but the spice, the smut was the only interesting part, so I was a little disappointed. Nash was very different from the first book, because he was so amazing in the first book. He was a completely different person. Obviously it makes sense with what happened in the first book for him to change, but I just didn't like that change. In the end of the book I liked him more. It was just in the beginning, it took some time to get used to this new Nash. I never really liked Lena. She was pretty annoying, and I didn't connect with her in any ways really. I don't remember really all of my thoughts about her while reading it. But now looking back on it, I can't remember a single moment where I was like, go Lena, I love you. So, I never really told you what this is about either. Should I do that? I can't say too much because it's going to spoil like the first book. There's only 2 books out in the series right now. The 3rd one is coming in September. But the first 2 books is about Knox and Nash and their love interests. So in this one we follow Nash, which is Knox's brother from the first book, and Lena. Yeah, things happen. Nash is dealing with something that happened in the first book. Lena is trying to do her job, and then they interfere with each other. Nash is a policeman. He's in charge. Is he a sheriff? I don't know if that's what they have. He's in charge. So him and Lena meet. There's some secrets, some things going on. One thing I have to say is that the whole point of this book is that Lena has a secret. It says on the back. He's the police chief, by the way. It says on the back. I'm just stupid. I'm gonna find. But when Nash discovers Lena's secret, these friends become furious enemies. And I was so disappointed when I read the secret, when the secret was exposed. I don't know, when we found out what the secret was. I was so disappointed. You can see it in my vlog. I was like, is this the secret? This was the big thing. This turned you into enemies. It was very underwhelming. Did not like that. Also, the book was predictable in a way. Multiple of the twists I predicted. I said it in my vlog, I feel like this is going to happen, and then it happened. So that's a little disappointing. Obviously it feels good being able to figure it out, but it was too easy. I want to be surprised by the twist. I want to be like, oh my god. But I didn't have those moments. But still, I enjoyed the book. I gave it 4 stars. That's a little too nice. Maybe 3.75? I don't know. I'm not completely sure. Because thinking back at it, I didn't really like it. I loved it, but it didn't give me everything I wanted. I'm very excited for the next one though. Finally getting Lucian and Sloane. If you also watched that video, I said as soon as Lucian was introduced, I was like, this person should have his own book. And the next book is his. Didn't know that, but now I'm very excited for it. So, like, with this book, I really did like it, but it took some time to get into. So I liked the second half of this book a lot more than the beginning. So I would say don't give up if you don't like this in the beginning. It takes time to get into, but then I would say it's worth it. I'm glad I read it, and I'm going to continue reading all of Lucy Score's book. Her writing, I have to say that, even if like his story wasn't that interesting all the time, her writing is so good. I loved it. It's easy to read, and it keeps me entertained even when the story isn't that good, because just the way she writes. I don't know how to explain it, but I just really like her writing. I'm a big Lucy Score fan. Next book I read in June was Stuck With You, one of the novellas in Loath to Love You by Ali Hazelwood. I am a big Ali Hazelwood fan. I love her. She's one of my favorite authors. I'm obsessed with everything she puts out. Stuck With You, I don't remember the names. Who is who? I get them mixed up. Is it Mara? Is that the Stuck With You person? Eric is the male character. Sadie? Is Mara the first one? Yeah, so it's Sadie and Eric. I'm so lost. Like, I get them all three of these novellas mixed up. I think Sadie and Eric was the ones that met, and then they were fighting over bagel or something. I don't really remember. But then they fall for each other, starts to talk, and then like a year later or something, I don't know if it's exactly a year, a while later, they get stuck in an elevator together. Eric doesn't care, like he doesn't know that there's like a rivalry going on between them. Sadie hates him, he doesn't know why. Eventually she explains it, and it's really just a big misunderstanding, like, communicate. Don't remember a lot about this story, but I really did enjoy it. I gave this one 4.5 stars. I don't remember why. It's like a forced proximity, stuck in an elevator. And like I said, Sadie hates the male main character, and he doesn't know why. One thing about these books is that, like, you start in the middle of something, and you're like, oh my god, you're like so into it, and then it's like a while later. I'm gonna find the thing and explain it better, because I'm really bad at explaining. Yeah, it starts in the present moment. Like, the first line is, my world comes to an end at 10:43 on a Friday night when the elevator lurches to a stop between the 8th and 7th floors of the building that houses the engineering firm where I work. And like, they're stuck in there together. And then when that chapter is over, it's 3 weeks ago. It's not a year. 3 weeks. That's whatever. And then you work back until, well, 3 weeks ago, and then you work your way up to the present moment. And I really enjoy this story. I like the way it's written. It's very fast-paced, so like you never get bored. And it's so fun to see the way they communicate with each other then, because you don't really know what happened. You learn it. You like learn it in the same way he does. I don't know how to explain it. That was a very bad explanation, but I liked the book. I love her writing. I love her books. And they're also kind of different from like The Love Hypothesis and Love on the Brain. Like, all three of these, really, I like them all. Moving on. The next book I read was The Society for Soulless Girls by Laura Stephen. I don't really read thrillers, so this was very new to me. I think I read this in a vlog, but I don't really remember. This book is... what is it about? It's about this girl who starts a new college on like the opening date of the college because it's been closed down because of murders that happened 10 years ago. It's this tower where a few people died. So they close down, they open up, she goes there, meets another person, they end up not really liking each other, but then they kind of explore the murders in a way, while not working together. They're keeping secrets from each other, but then they end up trusting each other, becoming friends. There's a few twists. I was not expecting this ending. I gave this book 3.75 stars because the writing was a little heavy. I don't know why, I just didn't. I'm gonna read this. 4 dead students, 2 haunted girls, 1 chilling secret to destroy them all. Yeah, that's right, they were haunted. Things happened to them. Like, I can't say it without spoiling it, but like, things started happening. They were trying to hide it from each other, but then they started bonding over it. And like, I don't know if this is a spoiler. It's probably a spoiler, I can't say it, but I want to say it, but I'm not going to. But I'm just gonna read the back of it because I don't know how to explain it. 10 years ago, 4 teenagers lost their lives in the North Tower murders at the elite Carvel College of Arts, forcing the university to close its doors and the case to go cold. Now, Carvel is reopening, and fearless student Lottie is determined to find out what really happened. But when her roommate Alice stumbles upon a soul-splitting ritual hidden in the library, and the North Tower claims another victim, time starts running out. Can Lottie and Alice uncover the truth before the centuries-old curse consumes them both? Like, this was... I couldn't stop reading. I remember sitting here on my bed after being at the pool all day, just having to finish this book. I was so obsessed. And also, I never read downstairs because I don't like sitting with my parents and reading, but I couldn't put it down. So like, we were watching... What was it? The World Cup? No. Was it? Maybe it was the World Cup? I don't remember. Something. We were watching football. And I couldn't put the book down, so I was like sitting downstairs reading this while trying to pay attention to the football game. Because I just couldn't... Why 3.75? I'm pretty sure I gave it 4 stars. I said in the video I gave it 4 stars, so I don't know why I wrote down 3.75 here. My camera battery is flashing. I'm so into this now. I don't want to stop. So I'm going to charge my battery and then I'll be back and we're going to continue this wrap up. I've been talking for 12 minutes and I'm gotten through 3 books. But anyways, need to charge my battery. Be back soon. So we're back. I don't know if my camera is fully charged, but I just didn't want to wait any longer. So we're trying. So if it stops again, sorry. Next book is Below Zero, the last novella in this. That's my favorite. I tabbed it. I don't know if you can see that. Only 3 places. What's this first one? Oh, I like that. Same moment in the flashback while talking about it. Okay, never mind. This book is a second chance romance. It's about Hannah, who works for NASA. And, like in the Arctic. She gets hurt, and then there's a storm. Like, she gets injured, there's a storm, so no one can come and save her until her rival shows up. And she's like confused, because she thinks that he hates her work, and like he doesn't support it. But she's wrong. She should have asked him again. There's a bit of miscommunication in these books. But I liked it. I really loved it. I gave this one 5 stars. I loved them. That last one, I want to reread it. Like, I don't know. Like, they meet. Again, you start in the present moment and then you go back in time and work your way up there. This one was different, wasn't it? Wait, did someone come home here? Did my father see my camera? Because that would make me very uncomfortable. He's home, so I'm just gonna wait a little bit and then we're gonna talk about this book again. Okay, we're back. Let's do this. Below Zero, that's what we were talking about. Basically, the male main character vetoes her project, so her research projects, so she gets turned down. She gets mad because she thinks that he doesn't think she's good enough, but then eventually throughout the book you're learning why he did it. And he's so special. I love him. I love this book. Like, I tabbed it 3 places, already showed you that. That's my favorite in this book. Again, love Ali Hazelwood's writing. She's one of my favorite authors, and I will buy everything she puts out. Next on my list, what's the next I read? You'll Be the Death of Me by Karen M. McManus something. This one is about a group of 3 friends who skip school. They see another person from their school, so they follow him, and then they end up on a murder scene. Tries to escape, and just like the investigation, they try to keep out of it while also figuring out what happens, and they have a little investigation of their own while trying to not be caught, because obviously they were on the murder scene when the police showed up, so they ran away, but there's still evidence and things. Personally, didn't like this that much. I gave it 3 stars. Like, it's a good book, but my expectations are like higher after giving 5 stars to One of Us is Lying and One of Us is Next. But I do really like her writing. It's very simple in a way, like it's just fast to get through. And I do like her stories, but this is not as good as her other books. Next one is Enola Holmes, The Case of the Missing Marks. I don't know if I said that right, but anyways. I love Enola Holmes. I gave this one 4 stars. I discovered Enola Holmes when the movie came out. I watched it, like both the first and the second movie, like comfort movies. I love them so much, so I had to read the book. Also, it's got Henry Cavill. I love it. This is basically about Enola, who is a smart young woman. She's like really clever. Wants to be like her brother, like solving crimes, being a little detective. Her mother goes missing on her birthday, so she runs away trying to figure out what happened to her mother, where she is, and then she runs into Tewksbury, who is running away from home, but also missing, and things go on there. Yeah, I'm not gonna talk too much about it because I don't want to spoil the story. I'm gonna say that I love Enola. She's so cool. She's like a badass young woman. I love her. I also really love Sherlock, and all of the like small moments of Enola and Sherlock's relationship is so dear to me. I hate Mycroft. Absolutely hate Mycroft. But I really recommend this book. 4 stars. Love it, and I am excited to read the rest of the series. The next book I read in June was Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. This is about Liz, who has a crush on a boy named Michael. She's always had a crush on him. Then he moved away, but he moves back, and then her neighbor, Wes, they have like this ongoing rivalry. But he's friends with Michael, so she gets him to help her get Michael's attention, trying to get together with Michael, and then they end up hanging out a lot. And you see their friendship and relationship develop, and it's so fun. Liz is obsessed with rom-coms, so like every chapter starts with a little line from a rom-com, and it kind of describes the chapter in a way, and I really liked it. Wes is like the coolest guy ever. I wish I had a friend like him. And Liz, I could relate to her a lot, so I think that helped me really enjoy this book. Did I say that I gave it 5 stars? I don't know, but I gave it 5 stars, and I'm worried my mom's gonna come home and see the camera in the window, so I'm just gonna check that sometime. This was a very fast-paced book, easy to read. I love her writing. I really do love Lynn Painter, so I'm excited to get to more of her books. I've read 2 so far, and I love them both. The next book I read in June was on my phone. I bought it on Kindle. I bought it on Amazon and put it on the Kindle app. And that was The Risk. That's the first book in the Mindfuck series. I've heard a lot of people talk about that book and like compare it to like Criminal Minds and say like if you like Criminal Minds you're gonna like this book, so I tried it out because I love Criminal Minds. Don't love this book. I was very disappointed. I gave it 1 star. Just didn't like it at all. I wrote down some things about what I thought of this book because I was afraid I was going to forget. This is about an FBI profiler. I think he's a profiler at least, He's a profiler for the FBI, and his name is Logan Bennett. He tries to find a serial killer. Then he meets Lana, who is a serial killer with a troubled past. They randomly meet in a cafe, fall for each other, starts going out. Yeah. Lana is a very closed-off, badass woman who really does a lot with these people. Like, she has her reasons to why she's killing them. Like, she's not just a crazy maniac. And then Logan is a really good detective. But at least he's supposed to be good. Like, I wrote down this here. He works for the FBI and is this super smart man, and he can't tell that she's lying. Like, is he not supposed to be a profiler? Like, how can you not tell? Like, she's the serial killer you're after. And like, she's helping him with cases and like giving input, and like, this is a random woman who works in like a random selling thing, and she knows how to help you solve a case. Like, you don't think that's a little suspicious? Like, you're supposed to be smarter than that. It's very unrealistic, and it's basically just a Criminal Minds fanfic. I feel like it's a literal copy of Criminal Minds. Lana's backstory, not backstory, but like, no, not Lana. One of the characters that works for the FBI is like literally Garcia. Same story, same reasoning for joining the FBI. It's just, the whole book is just a copy of Criminal Minds, and I did not like it. If it was inspired by Criminal Minds or the same as Criminal Minds in some ways, that would be fine, but this is like straight up a copy, and I hated it. I think I'm going to give the rest of the series a chance. Well, that's what I thought after reading it. But then I watched a wrap-up like yesterday of someone saying that the first book is the best book in the series. So I don't know. I kind of want to get to it because I hate not finishing things. So maybe I'll give the second book a chance. Who knows? We're gonna move on to my favorite book ever. I read Fourth Wing. Obviously had to get on it like everyone else. I'm just gonna start by saying I gave it 5 stars, obviously. I tabbed it a little bit in the end there. I didn't mean to, but I just started. Oh! I annotated it as well. Like, I've underlined and written some stuff. This is fun. I forgot about that. I opened this on a random place and I wrote this fucking chapter. What chapter is this? It's chapter 30. Apparently chapter 30 is very good. I've written a lot on it. I'm not gonna go through that right now. But this is about Violet, who is a dragon rider in like this kind of academy. She was supposed to be a scribe, that's what she wanted to do, but then her mother is like the person in charge or something and forced her into the dragon riding thing, into the rider's quadrant. Everyone thinks she's this weak little thing that isn't gonna make it, but she's really good at it. I'm not gonna say too much because like I don't want to spoil it, and I don't know what's considered a spoiler. I think my mom's coming, so if that's her car, I'm gonna have to move that camera. Well, basically, the people at the academy is training to... Can I put you there? I'm gonna move you back. You're just gonna have to be there for a little while. They're training to be soldiers, essentially, to protect their borders. There's also a little love triangle going on with Violet. I feel like everyone knows this. It's not a spoiler. And Satan, I don't know if that's the right way to say his name, but I'm just gonna do it. And Dane. I hated Dane. He's an idiot, and like I don't understand why you're so obsessed with being his friend. Because like, I get it, you grew up having a crush on him, but like he's an idiot. And then Satan, it's misunderstood. And like there's a lot of lying. Satan is the wing leader of Violet's wing and Dane's wing, so like they're with each other all the time. Basically, there's like 2 sides. Satan and his group of people against the academy. So his parents, along with all of the other kids' parents, are killed by the people in the academy. So it's kind of like a rivalry there. They hate each other. It's a little bit of enemies to lovers. And then there's like rules they have to follow and all of that. I'm not going to talk more about it because it's going to be spoilers and I don't want that. The first like 4 chapters I was a little bored, didn't know what was going on, didn't get it. But then after that I was obsessed and couldn't put it down. And I love this book so much. If you haven't read it, definitely do, because this is so good. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that book. I'm gonna see if it's safe to put my camera back up, and then we're gonna move on to July. So, like I said, in July I didn't have that much time to read, because I left on vacation on the 29th of June, and then I didn't end my vacation until like July 18th. I think that's when I came home. So I'm gonna start with this. I started Icebreaker in June, but then I put it on hold until I came back from vacation. I didn't like it in the beginning. I actually really disliked it. It was so boring. Didn't like the characters. I liked Nathan, but I didn't like Anastasia, and I wasn't really interested in the book other than the parts about their relationship. But then I picked it back up last week, I think, and I loved it a lot more. I decided to give it 3.75 stars. It's still not my favorite, but it definitely got better. So if you are like me and you have like some of the same opinions on books as I do, if you don't like it in the beginning, just keep going, give it a chance, because it will get better. What's this book about? Let's talk about that. Anastasia is a figure skater, Nathan is a hockey player. They're in college, university, whatever, something like that. They're in school together. Something happens, someone pulls a prank. They have their 2 rinks at the like skating rinks. One of them gets broken, so they have to share the rink, and drama. She gets mad at him because he's the captain. Like, she blames him because she has a competition coming up, and now she's not gonna have all of the time on the rink anymore because she has to share with them. But then he really wants her to be his friend, so they hang out together. Things happen, relationship. What's the name of the idiot in here? Okay, it doesn't say his name on the back, but Anastasia's skating partner is an idiot and I hate him. Nathan is amazing. He's like the best boyfriend, the best friend you could have. Everyone would be lucky to have someone like him. Anastasia is pretty annoying, but like I get it as well. And like, she's in therapy, she's working on herself, she's actively trying to improve, so I guess that made me like her a little more. So I would say give it a chance. The next book I read in July, I actually brought this with me on vacation and I read a little bit of it when I did have time to read, and that is Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. Personally, I love everything Alice Oseman writes. Her way of writing is so different, so comforting, while also can be like soul-crushing. I gave this one 4.75 stars. This is about, what's her name? Frances, who is like this really smart, top of her grade. What's that thing called? I don't know. We don't have that here. But like, she's like something on top of her grade in like a leader position, I guess. But then she meets Ayled, who runs a podcast called University, where the character is Radio Silence. Frances is a big fan of that, and so eventually she finds out a lot of things about radio, Ayled, her old friend. Things happen. I don't want to spoil too much, but I really do recommend reading this. All of Alice Oseman's books have like a lot of diversity when it comes to sexuality. So in this one, it doesn't say on the back, so read it, I don't want to spoil it, but I really did enjoy this book. And then I also have to mention Magnolia Parks. I started this in June, haven't finished it, I'm putting it on hold because it's a very heavy book. I love it, I am obsessed with this. I truly believe that this will be a 5-star, but it's just very heavy and it makes me feel too much, and like my mental state is not the best right now, so I don't think it's good for me to continue because this is heartbreaking. It's so many feelings and emotions and you get into their heads, and I am so obsessed with it. So I'm putting this on hold for a little while until I'm more prepared to read something like this. But personally, I think that this summer has been a pretty good reading thing. Obviously I didn't read that much in July, but I was on vacation, so it's fine. In August, I'm planning on reading a lot. Hopefully I get to it. So yeah, that's my wrap up. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe. If there's any videos you would like to see, or like books you want me to read, please comment it down below and I'll try my best to get to it. See you next time. Peace out, lovers.